My best friend started dating my ex, but lied about it for months. I recall it was a typical Tuesday night and was scrolling through stories on Instagram half asleep, with reruns of The Office in the background. And then, this sees on it a drunken midnight photo with my best friend, Jess, and my ex, Tyler, sitting next to each other at one of my favorite bars. They were sitting really close and laughing over something that nobody else could relate to. I glared at my phone, running, attempting to convince myself it was coincidence. But deep inside of me, I knew differently. Something was off. Okay, so rewind a little bit. Jess and I've been friends since sophomore college year. We crawled through awful roommates, awful boyfriends, and endless all-nighters along with one another. She was the first one I contacted when Tyler and I broke up that fall. It wasn't a nasty breakup, but it hurt. Tyler and I were together for almost 2 years, and I really thought that he was the one. Things intervened, though. He got a job in another town. I had to remain close to family, and we just fell apart. Jess was there for all of it. She listened to me scream, bought me ice cream, and even blocked him on social media for me when I had to send him a text at 2 a.m. And so when I saw this article, I felt this odd mix of bewilderment and betrayal. I was attempting to brush it off. Perhaps they just ran into each other. Perhaps I was paranoid. But then, the next few weeks, I started to notice little things. Jess would call to cancel at the last minute and tell me she was busy with work or just tired. She stopped talking about her weekends, and when I questioned her about the guys, she would get irritated or switch the subject. I badly wished to trust her, but something inside me kept gnawing at me all the time. One evening, I finally worked up the courage to actually ask her. We were at the Broken Mug coffee shop, the one where my name is misspelled by the barista on every cup. I attempted to play it cool. Hey, I bumped into you and Tyler at the Blue Room a few weeks back. You two, together. I added to soften the question. She paused, coffee halfway to her mouth. For a moment, I could see something flicker in her eyes, guilt maybe, but she brushed it aside. Oh, that? No, we bumped into each other. He was with friends. Totally random. I wished to believe her. I did. But the manner in which she slid out of my line of vision, the tone that was just a little bit too high, something was not right. I brusqued it away, but suspicion had been planted. We grew apart later that month. Jess cut text with me first. We talked to each other awkwardly, as if we both didn't want to discuss something enormous. I was a foreigner in my own friendship. I was missing her, but also the person whom I no longer questioned every step with. And then the previous weekend, it all fell apart. I was out with friends in common when some thoughtless woman asked if we'd seen the movies with Jess and Tyler. They're so adorable, she cooed, unaware that she'd just removed the pin from a grenade. My skin burned. I joked about it, as if I knew already. But I was crumbling in my insides. Jess, why hadn't she told me? Why did she feel like she had to lie? The remainder of the night, I replayed all of our conversations over and over in my head, every forced explanation, every moment when I doubted myself. I knew as I came back home that I couldn't deny it any longer. I had to see her. I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it pained me. I did not sleep much that evening. My thoughts were going round and round through all of my memories with Jess and Tyler, trying to figure out when everything actually began. Was it right after Tyler and I had broken up? Had Jess just hugged me in order to then message him? I hated that I'd been so jealous, but I couldn't help myself. My trust that I'd always had for Jess was shattered and moved for by this throbbing thud in my chest. The following day, I messaged her the following. *Hey, can we talk? I really need to see you, *. She responded right away, which surprised me. *Sure. My place, *. I drove there, rehearsing what I was going to tell her. I didn't scream or accuse her of anything. I just wanted to know the truth. When I got there, she opened the door with a frightened look on her face, messy bun in her hair, wearing the college sweatshirt I had left at her apartment. For an instant, I almost lost my nerve. We sat on her couch, and there was a tense energy between us. I sharply gasped. Jess, I need you to tell me the truth. Are you dating Tyler? She shifted her weight uncomfortably and nervously played with her hands in her lap. For an incredibly long moment, actually a really long moment, she didn't say anything, then finally nodded. Yeah, we are. I thought that all the oxygen had been removed from the room. I waited for her to go on speaking, but she did not move, looking at her hands. I attempted to be calm. How long? She winced. Few months. It just happened. I didn't do it on purpose, I swear. We collided at a party, and we were chatting, and I don't know, it just clicked. I wanted to tell you, but I was scared. I did not want to hurt you. I let out an anxious laugh. So you lied instead? She looked up, tears filling her eyes. I know. I was wrong. I should have said something. I didn't know how. I kept waiting for the right moment, and then it just became impossible. I wanted to scream, to cry, to ask her how she had the audacity to do this to me. But most of all, I was exhausted. You were my best friend, Jess. I told you things. I trusted you. She brushed at her tears. I know. And I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I really like him. I didn't think it would, but I do. I sat there, trying to catch up. I wished I could loathe her, but another part of me knew. Tyler and I were done. It still hurt, but it wasn't that I wanted him. What hurt more was the lying, the feeling of being left behind in my own life. We simply stood there in silence for a minute. Jess was the one who finally spoke up. If you never want to talk to me again, I'll get it. I hope you realize that I never meant for things to happen like this. I nodded, not sure I could force the words out that I had to. I stood and pulled my bag toward me. I need some room, Jess. I need to sort through my feelings. She nodded, crying. Take your time. I headed away, lighter and heavier all at once. At least I knew the truth now. But I had no idea what to do about it. The following days of that discussion were a blur, as if I was existing in another person's reality. I kept repeating everything Jess said in my head, again and again, attempting to make sense of it. I wanted to be furious, to shut her down and never speak to her again, but I simply couldn't do it. Jess had been my person for what seemed like forever. I still caught myself reaching for my phone to text her some random thing I'd notice or gripe about work, then forget. Nothing was the same as it was. I said nothing initially. I wasn't ready to be interrogated or judged. I threw myself into work instead, worked late at the office, and started going to the gym just to fill up the empty hours. But the loneliness seeped in anyway. I missed Jess, and I hated that I missed her. I even missed Tyler, queerly, not because I wished to have him in my life again, but because he was an aspect of my life that was suddenly out of reach. A week after, I knew something was amiss. My friend Marissa and I were going to grab lunch, and I must have zoned out or something because she waved her hand in front of my face. Not on this planet anymore. What is it? I stalled, but the words just came out. I told it all to Jess, to Tyler, to the months of lies. Marissa sat in quiet, her face a mixture of sympathy and shock. Wow, she said when I finished. That's a lot. You're okay, right? I shrugged. I don't know. I'm dumb for not being smarter earlier. And I'm dumb for missing her. Marissa reached out and touched my hand on the table and squeezed it. You're not stupid. You trusted your best friend. That's what you do. They did have an effect, at least. I knew I'd been wringing my hands like I'd known or done something or been able to do something differently. But the problem was, I didn't have control of Jess or Tyler. All I had control of was what I did next. That night, I sat down and wrote an email to Jess. I didn't send it, but I needed to get something out. I told her how much of a friend she had been to me, how hurt I had been that she lied to me, and how lost I now was. I accepted that I did not know if I could trust her anymore, but on the other hand, I did not want to shut her out of my life forever. Putting it into words made me realize how muddled up I was feeling. I was angry, fine, but I also realized that humans are not perfect beings. Jess had not attempted to hurt me. She'd just messed up. A couple of days later, I got a text from Tyler. It was short and awkward. *K, I just wanted to say sorry for how the whole thing went down. I never wanted to hurt you. Hope you're okay, *. I sat there looking at the message for hours. I had no idea what to respond with, so I just wrote. *Thanks. I'm working on it. It wasn't much, but it felt like progress. I didn't have to forgive him right away, but I didn't want to keep all that anger in my life. I deserved to move forward too. Slowly, I started calling up other friends, making plans, committing to things that I normally wouldn't. I was starting to see how much I had been relying on Jess for everything and how much my world had closed in. It was scary, but kind of freeing. I was getting all right by myself. A couple of weeks passed, and life fell into a new routine. I still caught myself thinking about Jess and Tyler more than I'd like to admit, but the hurt wasn't quite so raw as it had once been. I was discovering that maybe this was my chance to get going, although at first it didn't exactly feel like it. Saturday morning, I awoke to see a text from Jess. *Hello. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I just had to call and ask how you were doing. I miss you. I'm here if you ever want to talk. I stared at the message for hours, it felt like. Part of me was just in the mood to ignore it, to just keep going and not even glance back. The other part of me, the part that couldn't help but keep recalling all our late-night jokes and sarcasm, wished that we could at least try it. I didn't know if we could ever be that way again, but maybe we could figure out some new way of existing together. So I responded to her. I miss you too. Will we meet? We met at a deserted park, far away from the ones that were so crowded with too many memories. Jess was restless, but relief-faced. We sat on a bench, and for a minute or two, we just watched the ducks on the lake, neither of us having any clue where to start. Finally, I said something. I've been completely hurt, Jess. Not so much that you're with Tyler, but because you lied. I needed you, and you weren't there. She nodded, and her eyes went teary. I know. I was scared. I thought I'd lose you anyway, and I guess I did. Sorry. I wish I'd done things differently. I trusted her. She would say sorry to me. But I knew that things were not going to be the same again. I don't think we can ever be the same, but I don't want to hate you. I want to move on, maybe just as friends. Can't get much worse. Jess smiled, still wiping away the tears. I'd like that. I'll do anything to make it right, to get your trust back. We talked and sat there for a while, about nothing and everything. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't easy, but it was real. For the first time in months, I felt that I could breathe. And then we started texting again, slowly. We weren't friends yet, or perhaps ever. But we were something. I realized that forgiveness was not going to be forgetfulness, and it wasn't going to be us going back to the way things used to be. It just meant letting go of the anger so I could move on. And as for Tyler, I barely saw him at all. Friends informed me that he and Jess were still an item, and the thing was, I didn't resent it. I didn't want him, and I didn't want to be the type of person to harbor a grudge for all eternity. I wished them both the best, though sometimes it still stung. In retrospection, I learned a great deal about myself. I learned that it is okay to draw lines, take time away from myself, and let go of those who hurt me, although I continue to love them. I learned that it is possible for friendships to survive the ugly parts, but only if both parties are committed to seeing it through. I'm still figuring things out, but I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm making new friends, trying new things, and learning to trust myself again. And maybe, just maybe, I'm starting to believe that I'll be okay, no matter what happens next. If you've ever been through something like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this story hit you even a little bit, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell.